5 to 10 seconds of pure chaos footage. Fans screaming, confetti cannons, referee blowing final whistle, players collapsing in tears, joy or despair, slow-motion shots of goal celebration, shocked faces in the crowd, a coach being hoisted up. No narration, just sound effects and music. All right, sports fanatics, armchair coaches, and anyone who's ever screamed at a TV. We've all seen them. Those finals where you know who's gonna win before the coin toss. The perennial champions against, well, anyone they feel like crushing. Kinda boring, right? But then, once in a blue moon, the universe decides to mess with us. It throws a curveball so wild, so utterly bananas, that it rewrites the rulebook of what's even possible. And today, we are talking about TAE Final. The one asterisk nobody asterisk saw coming. The clash between unstoppable giants and, well, let's just say a team that used to lose to your grandma's walking group. Seriously, why do we bother? Is it to watch predictable dominance? To see a dynasty just add another shiny trinket to their already overflowing trophy cabinet? Nah. We tune in for the drama, the heartbreak, the did that just happen moments. We crave the underdog story, the one where David actually, genuinely, for real, knocks Goliath's lights out. Because if it's always the same winners, what's the point? Where's the magic? Where's the pure, unadulterated chaos that makes you fall in love with the game? Exactly. You want to feel something, right? First up, the Titans. We are talking Real Madrid. Just saying the name probably made a shiver go down your spine, didn't it? They're not just a football club. They're a global phenomenon, a brand, a dynasty forged in the fires of victory. Their trophy room isn't just full. It needs an extension every other season. With a history longer than your average blockbuster film series, and a reputation for signing only the absolute best, they practically invented winning. They don't asterisk hope asterisk to win. They asterisk expect asterisk to. It's in their DNA. So, yeah, they're kinda a big deal. Think about it. They've got more Champions League titles than some countries have national holidays. Their players are household names across every continent, and their iconic white kits are recognizable literally anywhere. They're the kind of team that walks onto the pitch and their opponents are already mentally preparing their good effort speeches. It's like bringing a butter knife to a tank fight, most of the time. This isn't just about good players. It's about a culture of unparalleled success, a machine that just keeps on churning out victories year after year, era after era. They are the benchmark. Now, let's pivot hard. Far away from the glitz and glamour of Madrid, nestled somewhere in the heart of England, there's a team called FC Midlands. You probably haven't heard of them. That's okay, most people hadn't. Their stadium capacity? Let's just say it's smaller than the average Real Madrid player's yacht. Their most famous signing? Probably their new groundskeeper. They've spent decades languishing in the lower leagues, occasionally flirting with relegation, but mostly just existing. A plucky, local club, fueled by pies and lukewarm tea, and the dreams of a few hundred diehard fans. The kind of team you mention, and people just blink at you. FC Midlands was the epitome of a community club. Their biggest rivalry was with the team 3 towns over, not international superstars. Their budget wouldn't even cover one of Real Madrid's players' car collections. They were a team of local lads, a few seasoned veterans, and a manager who probably did his own laundry. Success for them meant not being relegated, or maybe, just maybe, making it to the 3rd round of a domestic cup competition. The idea of them even asterisk qualifying asterisk for a major European tournament was a punchline. Winning one? That was less likely than seeing a unicorn riding a skateboard. So, how did these two galactic opposites end up facing each other? Let's start with Real Madrid. Their journey to the final was, well, pretty much a Real Madrid journey. Dominant performances, clinical victories, brushing aside Europe's elite with that familiar swagger. Every game was another masterclass, every goal a symphony of skill and precision. Opponents tried, bless their hearts, but it was like trying to stop a bullet train with a wet paper bag. They cruised, as expected, sending a clear message. The trophy was already engraved with their name, they just needed to pick it up. Now for FC Midlands. Their path? Less of a journey, more of a fever dream. It started innocently enough, squeezing through qualifiers with last-minute goals and penalty shootouts that probably gave their loyal fans heart palpitations. Each victory was celebrated like they'd won the entire thing, not just scraped past another obscure team. Pundits called it luck. Lots and lots of luck. Like finding a $50 bill every time you checked your pocket. But then, they beat a team that should have beaten them. And another. And suddenly, people weren't just blinking at FC Midlands. They were doing double takes. It wasn't just luck anymore. FC Midlands developed a style, gritty, relentless, and surprisingly effective. They defended like their lives depended on it, and counterattacked with the ferocity of a startled badger. They knocked out former champions, teams with actual star players, and managers whose salaries could fund Midlands for a decade. Each win was more improbable than the last. The world media went from who to wait, seriously. FC Midlands, a team that couldn't afford heated seats in their dugout, was somehow defying logic, physics, and basic football economics. It was beautiful chaos. The semi-finals arrived, and the scriptwriters were clearly on vacation. Real Madrid, predictably, demolished their opponent with an almost arrogant ease. Meanwhile, FC Midlands, against a team everyone had picked for the final, delivered a performance that made even the most cynical commentators speechless. A last-gasp winner, a defensive masterclass, and a penalty save that defied belief. It had everything. The final whistle blew, and the realization hit. Real Madrid versus FC Midlands. The world paused. Was this real life? Or had someone slipped us something in our drinks? Social media broke. News channels ran endless segments. Sports pundits, who had probably never heard of FC Midlands 3 months prior, were suddenly experts on their tactics. The general consensus? What a cute story, but Real Madrid is going to absolutely obliterate them. Bookmakers had the odds so stacked against Midlands, you could probably bet your house and still not make enough to buy a fancy coffee if they won. It was less a prediction and more a polite warning for Midlands fans to bring tissues. The narrative was set, a glorious coronation for Madrid, a plucky defeat for the underdogs. The days leading up to the final were a circus. Real Madrid players giving confident, almost bored, interviews about respect and preparation. FC Midlands players, on the other hand, looked like they just won a lottery. Wide-eyed, pinching themselves, and probably asking their coach if they could swap jerseys with the Madrid Stars before the game. Their manager, a grizzled veteran who'd seen it all, mostly losing, was just telling them to enjoy the moment. Because, let's be real, nobody, not even him, expected them to do anything but make up the numbers. It was David versus Goliath, if David was using a pebble he found in his shoe. Then, the day itself. A packed stadium, a sea of white clashing with a smaller, but incredibly passionate, pocket of blue and yellow. The atmosphere was electric, tinged with a strange sense of what if, from the neutrals. Real Madrid fans, confident, almost regal. Midlands fans, nervous, hopeful, and probably already a little teary-eyed just for being there. The referee blew the whistle, and the impossible final was officially underway. For the first few minutes, it was exactly as predicted. Madrid dominance, Midlands scrambling, soaking up pressure, and making desperate clearances. The machine was roaring. But then, something shifted. A misplaced pass, a brave tackle, and suddenly Midlands were on the break. Fast, direct, heart-in-your-mouth stuff. The ball zipped across the pitch, a perfect cross, and a header from their scrappy striker, usually known for missing sitters. Goal! The net rippled, the stadium went absolutely silent for a split second, and then erupted. Not just the Midlands fans, but everyone. A collective gasp of disbelief, quickly turning into a roar of excitement. 1-0 to the underdogs. The Giants looked stunned. You could practically hear the collective dropping of popcorn across the globe. Real Madrid, predictably, retaliated. Waves of attack, shots raining down, but somehow, inexplicably, FC Midlands held firm. Their goalkeeper, a forgotten journeyman, was having the game of his life, pulling off saves that defied gravity. Their defenders threw themselves in front of every shot, blocking, tackling, clearing. Halftime came, and the scoreboard read 1-0. A dream. A beautiful, ridiculous, impossible dream. The Real Madrid coach looked like he'd aged 10 years, while the Midlands manager just chuckled, probably still convinced he was going to wake up any second. The second half began with Madrid throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Midlands. Shot after shot, corner after corner. It felt inevitable, didn't it? And then, the equalizer. A moment of individual brilliance, a thunderbolt from outside the box that left the keeper with no chance. 1-1. The natural order restored. But Midlands didn't crumble. They dug in deeper. Every tackle was a war, every clearance a desperate plea to the football gods. The clock ticked agonizingly slowly. This wasn't just a game. It was a testament to human spirit, defiance, and a refusal to just roll over and play dead. With minutes ticking away, the game was poised on a knife edge. Extra time loomed. And then, it happened. A frantic scramble in the Real Madrid box, a ricochet, and another Midlands player, a young academy graduate who'd barely played all season, poked the ball past the flailing keeper. Goal! The stadium exploded. This time, it wasn't just disbelief. It was pure, unadulterated pandemonium. 2-1 to FC Midlands. The world watched, stunned. Madrid pushed, they clawed, but it was too late. The final whistle screamed, piercing through the noise, confirming the impossible. FC Midlands. Champions. The words felt alien, like they belonged in an alternate universe. Players collapsed, some in tears of joy, others in sheer exhaustion. The manager was hoisted onto shoulders, a look of bewildered ecstasy on his face. Real Madrid players stood, bewildered, unable to comprehend what had just transpired. Their dynasty, their certainty, had been shattered by a team nobody knew. It was a story for the ages, a true fairy tale, a moment that proved that sometimes, just sometimes, the biggest hearts and the wildest dreams can conquer the most formidable giants. Just incredible. The headlines the next day were glorious. Midlands miracle. David slays Goliath again. The impossible dream is real. Social media was awash with praise, memes, and utter disbelief. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone had a "I told you so," even if they hadn't. This wasn't just a football match. It was a cultural reset button. It reminded everyone that predictions are just guesses, and that in sports, anything, truly anything, can happen. From the humble pitches of Midlands to the global stage, they had rewritten history, one plucky, determined, utterly glorious moment at a time. FC Midlands became a legend overnight. Their stadium, once quiet, was now a pilgrimage site. Kids who had never touched a football were suddenly dreaming of playing for them. Their story became a beacon of hope for every small club, every overlooked individual, every single person who's ever been told they're not good enough. It proved that sometimes, the biggest budgets don't buy the biggest heart. What an incredible, goosebump-inducing reminder of why we fall in love with sports in the first place. It's not about the logos. It's about the grit, the passion, and the sheer audacity to dream beyond what's expected. So, what do you think? Was this the greatest upset of all time? Or do you have a favorite underdog story that makes this one look like a Tuesday night friendly? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing about those moments where the world just stopped turning because something truly impossible happened. Share your wild stories, your "I was there" moments, or just tell us which team you think is the next FC Midlands. Because let's be honest, we are all secretly hoping for another one of these curveballs, aren't we? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing sports stories.